Hey everyone, welcome back to the workbench here. Got a bit of a different video today. Want to talk about some headphones and headphone modifications. What I've got here is the Hifiman HE-R9. Really weird looking set of headphones. They've got these big resonance chambers here. Out of the box, these are very bass forward, to the point where it's extremely muddy on the low end, very hard to hear low mid-range definition. Things like distorted guitars get very unclear and hard to pick out. The bass is incredibly boomy and loose and uncontrolled. One of the other things out of the box that's a little troubling is there's some high-end peaks that come through really harsh and sharply, that just are not very well balanced. So I was curious to see what we could do here to improve the levelness of the sound and to bring back that clarity to both the low end, the low mid-range, and to attenuate some of those high-end peaks. So I wanted to try modifying these. It's pretty easy to do. You got to take the ear pads off. If you pull up gently, you'll see that there's a hard plastic layer there that you can expose and you can get behind and then pry these out. They just sit in with these little clips here. Very easy to take on and off. Once you get those off, you're going to find that there's 6 screws here. You'll need a tiny screwdriver to get those 6 screws out around the edge. Easy to do. And then this will come out. You'll want to be very careful here because there's some wires attached that you don't want to damage at all. So you'll see what I've done is I've added a few things here to help improve the sound, and I'll say that the sound is dramatically improved with these changes. The first thing I've done is to take some Blu Tack, blue poster putty that's tacky and sticky. I've used 1.5 sticks in each ear cup. I've divided that up evenly, and I've applied it to the large surfaces. 1, 2, 3 around the top, 2 on the sides, 1 on the top there. You'll notice that from the factory they do have a square piece of black foam in the back there that helps a little bit. I've also added some polyester stuffing here. Unsure on the exact amount, but for me that amount there was just right to get the sound that I wanted. One of the final things that I added here was some EVA foam. This is weather stripping ethyl vinyl acetate foam. Very cheap, very easy to come across. All of these things are very cheap and accessible. So I added a small square of that down to the very bottom just to help clean up that mid-range even more. And I'll say now that the bass is vastly improved. It's there, it's present. It still has a nice sort of resonance and presence. It's not totally squashed and totally flat. But it is way improved. You can hear details in the mid-range again. You can hear the guitars again, acoustic guitar, vocals, all very clear and present. You get fantastic imaging. The sound stage is maybe ever slightly reduced with these modifications, but it's still very wide sound stage and fantastic for the price point on these headphones. Put it back together. I did wind up leaving out the 2 bottom screws as well, which maybe adds a very minor amount of porting, but you'll notice that there's 3 major ports across the top here that you could also work with for modification. The Blu Tack is going to act as a dampener on the back here. So you'll see people talking about Dynamat and stuff like that. It's a lot more expensive. It's the same thing. You're reducing the vibrations of that hard plastic back there as well to reduce that bass standing wave and vibrating waves going back and forth in that large chamber there. Vastly improved. You'll also notice that I'm driving these with a 1M2. I believe FIO makes these. FIO, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. And you can drive these with just a single cable here down to the left-hand side. And these will drive just fine. With that, this is LDAC capable. It's a very effective way to turn these into a Bluetooth headset here. Pretty straightforward. For a cheap set, this will dramatically improve the sound of this set, so I highly recommend experimentation here. And your ears will always be different than someone else's ears, so you may need to experiment there. The Blu Tack is going to be best for that very low bass end, muddiness and reverberation. The EVA foam will help with the mids a little bit. You want to be pretty sparing with that and use it as needed. And then that foam also will help with the low end bass wave reverberation within the chamber there as well. But too much of that foam will start to taper some of the high end as well. So you want to be careful there and balance so that you get the bass that you want, but it doesn't start to feel muffled or anything like that. So cool cans, very cheap. You can get them open box or used, and you can modify them really easily to suit your taste. I hope this helps. Thanks all.